Hi, I'm Dr. Ebony Stone, and this is the Black Woman in the Corner Office. Hello, 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 and welcome to the Black Woman in the Corner Office. I am your host, Dr. Ebony Stone, and I, as always, have an amazing guest here for you today. So before we get started, you know what I'm going to ask you to do now and in the end, right? If you like this show, make sure you go ahead and subscribe, share it with someone, and download it if you want to listen to it on a plane or something, right? All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Today's guest is Miss Shalece Daniels, and I'm going to go ahead and read her bio. But before I do that, I just want to give a shout out to 1 Million Cups because that is where we met. So if there's a 1 Million Cups near you and you're a business owner, get on over there. There's a lot of good networking opportunities. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and read Shalece's bio. And then we're going to get into all of the great things that she does. We're going to get into what her journey looked like getting there, which is really interesting, at least from my perspective. So I'm sure you will enjoy it as well. All right. Miss Shalece Daniels is a rest coach for high-performing leaders in hustle culture recovery. She built the 14-day rest reset, where leaders leave with a 10-minute protocol that improves insulin sensitivity, lowers stress, and sharpens decision-making. Her product, Flow AI, which is so cool, you guys, handles systems and delegation, and her couples retreat anchors the belief that when the relationship is secure, leaders can truly rest and achieve more. Shalece is the CEO of Live As If. Welcome, Shalece.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. And like you said, major shout out to 1 Million Cups because we always meet some amazing folks there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's start here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about, and I always say, go back as far as you want to go, right? Some people want to go all the way back to high school or before. Some people are like, yeah, I ain't going that far. So take us back as far as you want to go and tell us where this professional journey started for Shalece.
Well, being that high school was only a couple years ago, it's all right for me to go back there. No, right? No, I love being seasoned at this point. Um, I but I will go back to not too far away from high school, and that was I was pregnant at 18 years old in high school. And as soon as high school ended, I went to the bookstore. I would read these books about what to expect when you're expecting. I then happened into like the self help aisle, and it was this purple book. I think it was purple and black back then, called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I read that book. I pulled it, and I knew, okay, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a real estate investor. Exactly. Even though I went to school and I studied something completely different, Africana studies, at that point, I think I was 19 years old. Before I was 20, I'll say that, I had my first 5 houses. And
I
that's where my
love
real estate journey began. Thank you. Um, After that, I was married. We got accumulated some more wealth, got divorced, lost quite a bit of what we had, and began building it back. Got a sales position, which in sales you write your own check, and
Yes.
I began building back my assets. I'll say that, and then got remarried, and since built a property management firm as well as a coaching firm. Now, I let go of the corporate environment, and I know you talk a lot about corporate and etc. for all the reasons that you discuss. and and I delved headfirst into my property management, and I burned out.
Mm.
Out, went to Costa Rica, spent some time there, let go of the business, and then thereafter, maybe 3 weeks into my whole eat, pray, love, whatever you would call it, I came back up, picked my head up, called, and the business was still flourishing. So I when I was able to come back 5 months later, I came back to the States, And I saw a huge increase in terms of where we were business wise. And I knew that I was the bottleneck, I was the issue, I was the problem. I swiftly got myself out of the business to look at it from a 30,000 foot level.
Yeah.
And then I started my coaching practice once I was
Yeah.
safely out of that. Used to do systems. That's why I created Flow AI, which you and I had an opportunity
Yes, we did.
to
Yeah.
demo. And then I delved, once she was funded, she's 50% funded now, which was
Nice.
exciting, right? As in the text founder space. Once she was on the road to being as beautiful as she's going to be, who knows what she'll evolve into, I then leaned real hard into rest coaching because that's what I wanted to do in the beginning. I never wanted to be a tech founder, never wanted to have flow. I'm so happy that she's here.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, now what I do is I give them flow and then I help them rest.
Yes, yes. So listen, so many things, so many questions. So we're gonna get into this. First of all, you guys, so like I said, I met Shalece at 1 Million Cups, and we've had some conversations. I've seen Flow, right? But I did not know that you were a property manager. That
Oh,
part I
yeah.
did not know. And so we need to get into that too. But so as you were saying, by the time you were 20, you bought your first 5 homes.
Mhm.
And I read Rich Dad Poor Dad too, and I was probably about the same age,
Yeah,
maybe just a little older. And then I went. So I just want to ask you: do you remember Carlton Sheets? Are you
I
old enough
do.
to remember Carlton Sheets?
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay.
Absolutely. He
So
was all over the TV.
yes,
No money down. Yeah, that was the whole land. That was the seller financing, take over someone's note, subject to, et cetera. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
yep. I believe if I went downstairs in my basement right now, I could find my Carlton Sheets book because I bought them, right? Because I was like, yeah, I am going to do this thing. And so, for those of you out there who shy away from real estate, I would suggest that you not. It seems scary, but I want to talk a little bit about because I've been in the real estate game for a while as well, but I want to talk a little bit about whether it is real estate or some other venture. What would you tell people about starting to build wealth early, especially those watching the show that might be younger, right? Or even if you're not, if you find yourself a seasoned adult and you're like, oh shoot, I didn't start, I haven't built any wealth.
Suggest
What would you
myself.
tell those? Yes. What would you tell them about building wealth, whether it be through real estate or through some other means?
My husband always says this. The best time to build a tree, to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is now.
Mhm.
And what I mean by that is, I'll tell you a method that we're using for our children. Um, we are having each one of our children purchase a multi-unit property. We're starting with our daughter. This is the first property they'll ever purchase on their own. Like, this is 100% all her. We had nothing to do with it. And so she's purchasing a two-family flat. I would even go for a four if you can, but um, for reasons that your children, she needs to manage one property and
Yeah.
not four units at a time just to start.
Hmm.
But you can do that with an FHA loan with as little as 3% down. Sometimes, depending on the amount of money that you're financing, you can get assistance with putting money down. And then at 24 years old, she's not making a ton of money. And so she does qualify for some first time home buyer funds, in which she won't come out of much money at all. But the way that you do this is, even if you do have to come out of 3% out of $300,000, it's not much. You can, I say, your first time purchasing real estate could be a house hack, which is what she's doing. She's going to live in one unit, rent out the other unit. She has a three-car garage at this one. She's also going to Airbnb that.
Yeah.
So, in addition to the regular stable income, she'll also have some larger income, but a lot more management for that three stall brick, beautiful garage that's attached to this home that she didn't pay much for, but
Mm,
it's paying rent,
yeah.
but rent in your bank. And it'll be in the 48214 area code. So, the properties over there are close to downtown Detroit and
Yes.
the values are rising. So I say um find a home. I probably veered way off and got too deep into the weeds.
That's okay.
My for that, Ebony.
Okay.
Find a home that you could live in and rent the other one out or Airbnb the other one. My husband wanted her to do Airbnb both, like the garage and the house. And Ty was like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
he wanted it maximize her income earning potential. But if you have it in you, you have the work ethic, do that. I mean, you're going to pay rent anyway.
Yes, I will. So when we started our journey in real estate, when I did the whole Carlton Sheets thing, I was dating my now husband. And then when we got married, we bought some properties. And like you, and like many people in real estate, we learned some lessons kind of along the way. And unfortunately for us, 2008, when the mortgage meltdown happened, we lost quite a bit. But again, we rebuilt it because you have the wherewithal and the knowledge to do so. The one, probably the one thing that I look back on that you are telling your daughter to do that I agree with 100% that I fought my husband tooth and nail, and I really hate
Mhm.
that I said, no, we can buy properties and we'll just buy one to live in. We don't need to buy a two family. He kept saying, hey, let's buy a two family so we don't have a mortgage. We could just live in one side and we'll let the other side or the upstairs pay for it. And I'm like, no. To this
Wow.
day, I hate that I convinced him to do that. But you live and you learn. All of
Mhm.
that being said, I think what I hear Shalece saying is start now if you have not.
Yeah.
Start now. Make sure you are investing in something. And if it's not real estate, or you can invest in real estate a different way. There's real estate investment trusts that I was just reading and learning about. And there's so many other things, but just start now.
The new
So that
money.
was the first question.
Hey, if nothing else, I got a couple more things. Listen, Roth IRA, maximize that, like max that out. You'll probably put it in a vehicle where you'll make about an 8% return, but every month you can put in $100, $200, 500, or 500 might max it out. But it grows tax free. And so everybody should be maxing that out. We max that out for our kids immediately. So if they
Yeah.
never touch it or do anything else, it's going to still grow for them. IUL, I just started researching a little bit of that. We put
Yeah.
some money in there, the Universal Life, whatever it's
I
called,
was in a
right?
meeting about that this morning.
Did
Yes.
you?
Yeah.
And then one other thing I was thinking, so that's real estate, a REIT, that's the market. I'm trying to think of really easy, simple things that doesn't bring people too far out of their comfort zone, like crypto might. Um, when it comes to me, maybe I'll say something, but very important to do that.
To start now. And
Right.
yes, I was in a financial, I'll just say a financial based meeting this morning and thinking about how many of us as Black women specifically have worked so hard and pushed so hard to take care of others that we haven't taken care of ourselves or our futures. Um, as you know, Shalece, and I don't even know if I've ever said it on this show, but some of the folks watching, if they know me, know that one of my other businesses is we do headstones and monuments, and we run into people all of the time who have not prepared, right? Sometimes it's hard to talk about, but there are two things that we're all going to do. We were all born and we're
Mhm.
all going to leave here, right? And go to our permanent home. And we don't want to make that hard on people. And so
Yeah.
doing these things now prepares for that time because it's going to happen. But I don't know how we got off on here. Oh, I was
I
asking
don't know
about,
either. Credit card. It came to me,
yeah,
as
okay.
we're seasoned. Put your kid on that credit card to build their credit. The way that Ty she has a 730 credit score.
Mhm.
The way that she got that credit score is because when she was I think 16. I put her
Mhm.
on my American Express, and she, without her doing anything, she built her credit. Same for my son, very good credit. He's only 20, just turned 20.
Yes.
Put him on my American Express when he was 13. Like, I don't
Yes.
even know if there's an age limit, and his credit is through the roof. So just a little tip for the parents. You want to help your kid get a head start, start building their credit.
Yes, and these are things that we didn't know about. I would guess if my parents knew that, they would have done that for me, but they didn't know. So I had to build my credit from the ground up. But to your point, right, I have helped my children in that same way, right? So my youngest right now, we're starting on him, but I know for sure my daughter has an excellent credit score. She's learned about credit. We talk about it. She's like, "Hey, mom, I'm going to do this." I'm like, "Yeah, don't do that. This is what don't do that. Let's talk about it." Um, and so I think that's important. But I want to get back to you. I want to move back.
Okay.
Like we were talking about real estate. I want to get back to you. So you bought your first 5 homes
Hmm.
by the time you were 20.
Yeah.
What did that feel like? What were other 20-year-olds saying to you? What were other people saying?
So I had kids very young, so I wasn't around other 20-year-olds.
Okay.
My 20-year-old friends were at Howard. They were living it up. They were going to parties and I was changing diapers.
That's fair.
So the people that was around, they were a lot older than me because my kid went to school, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not really sure. I still have those friends that were at Howard inviting me to parties, but partying it up in Michigan State. And I can't remember what they thought or what they were saying, but that would be an interesting conversation to ask. Like, y'all, I was changing Ty's diapers. What were y'all thinking? Was that they probably were thinking she is crazy? I can't believe she has a baby. I can barely take care of myself. I'm sure that it has something to do with that, but um, I remember not being able to go to so many different things and not being able to enjoy when they had parties and stuff. I'm like, well, I can't go. Not even being interested, actually.
Really? Okay. Yeah, because I at 20, so like I said, I was probably a little older than you when I know I was because I had graduated college when I bought Carlton Sheets. So I was probably 23, 24 when my interest peaked. But at 20, if one of my friends had 5 homes, I would have been like, where they get
I
their
don't
money
know
from?
if
Like,
they
what did
knew.
you?
I'm not
Okay.
sure if I told them. Like, I don't
Mm,
I don't think I would say like, hey guys, like I'm going to collect rent. I'm figuring out this section 8, like they done dinged me on this and I gotta get somebody to fix this house. I just don't think that we even had those conversations. I think they knew that I had some real estate. But they probably we just didn't have those conversations.
yeah. Do you
Interesting.
do you think that and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but do you think that it was twofold for you? You had read Rich Dad Poor Dad, which if you haven't read the book, read the book. It's still a
Please.
classic. I think I got 2 copies, right? And downstairs on my bookshelf somewhere. But so when you read that book, it changes something, right? You're ready to do something. But also you had a child. So there was a survival instinct that a lot of us didn't have. So do you think it was the two things coupled together? The knowledge that you gained and knowing that like I have kids that I got to take care of. Like at 20 I didn't, so it didn't matter if I slept to 2 o'clock. I had a meal plan that I could just go swipe and all I had to do was homework.
Yeah. Um, I think actually the first thing was that I was a mother and I was looking for some type of survival to take care of my kids. I remember carrying Ty to Cranbrook when at this point, I didn't have any money, like any money. And I want to say I was receiving like DHC or human services, whatever, food
Okay.
stamps, ridge card. And I remember carrying her in a carrier and taking her to Cranbrook to orientation. And
Mm.
while I never went to Cranbrook, she went to Roper, she went to Girls
Wow.
Scout Academy, she went to
Wow.
Waldorf School. She's never, yeah, I just knew like this was the way that I wanted to take care of my child, you know. So yeah, it was that came first. It was that survival instinct that just kicked in. And how, why, I don't know. And I didn't even miss any of the other things. It was like, oh, this is my mission. This is what we're doing. Come on, let's do it.
Let's do it. I love that. Okay. So, and I know as a mother myself that kicks in, right? And you do what you have to do for your children. But I think that now I want to get into you. I want to get into the rest, right? We've got to do that for ourselves, right? The notion of I got to do what I got to do for my child has to kick in for ourselves. So we have to do what we have to do for ourselves. So I want to talk a little bit about you getting burnt out and going to Costa Rica. Can you walk us through that? Like, what did that look like? I think some people think you're just going to sit down somewhere and have a breakdown and the whole
Yeah,
world knows you're burnt
yeah,
out.
yeah.
And that wasn't my experience. I wonder what yours was like.
First of all, arrested development is a thing. And you saying like that survival instinct kicks in, and we don't allow ourselves to feel the emotions of I am tired,
Yes.
I am struggling, I am I'm upset, I'm frustrated. Like I didn't have time for that. I'm sorry. I don't know. Yeah.
It's, it's
Okay.
fine.
Because cursing is my first language.
Okay.
But I just didn't have time for it. I didn't have time to be upset or frustrated. Like focus, focus, focus. You are responsible for this life.
Mm-hmm.
Period. You chose. And at this time, it was 2021. Ty was born in 2000. That means that she was 21 years old. It was 2020. She was 20 years old, and at this, she was living in LA. She went
Okay.
to do city year in LA, and thereafter she stayed and went to school from there. And my son was, I believe, if she was 20, he was 15, and he had chosen to live with his father, my ex husband. And so I'm at home with my now husband, David, and um, stressed out, COVID. It's December. We go for 4 weeks for a vacation. And I say, I'm not going back.
Mm.
You go home, take care of what you need to take care of. I'm going to be right here for another week. The plan was a week, Ebony.
Was he okay with that? He was, because I could just see my husband saying, you're not staying here.
One thing about our relationship is, well, there's two things that happen. One is we have massive freedom. The both of us, we're very, very autonomous. Now remember, it's our both of our second marriage. And
Okay.
we're whole, full human beings who understand what we need. So we didn't grow together from a very young age. That could have something to do with it. And then the second thing is we had an argument, a big argument, like a 3 day argument.
Oh, goodness.
And I was like, okay, you go. I'm gonna stay here for another week, and I'm gonna go over to the other side. This was the Caribbean side. We have been vacationing on the Pacific side. I went and I was like, wow, I love this place. I fell in love driving in. I was driving myself. Well, after a week was almost up, I came home. I actually did come home. This is January 6th of 2021 when folks were terrorizing the Capitol building. I literally landed here. On
Mm.
January 7th, I celebrated my brother Calvin's birthday. On January 8th, I flew back to Costa Rica because I had never felt that feeling of freedom and allowing myself to let go. That's when, that's when the 3 week count started for me saying, fuck this business and everybody else that's in it. Y'all can go to pot. I don't care. This is what I am doing. That's
Yes.
when it happened, right?
Yes.
Well, after that's when I had my whole Eat, Pray, Love in the jungle. 3 weeks later,
Mm-hmm.
I lifted my head up and I was like, oh, okay, let me see if my source of income is still there. So I did, and they were actually doing better. And I was like, okay, Shalece, you need to change some things. Something in me changed. I do not know what it was. It was spiritual, whatever it was, it changed. So I was able to feel this relief, walk around at night by myself, pitch black, go to the jungle and be safe, the feeling
Mm.
exactly what you think it is, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Feeling was unmatched, and I had never felt it before. Part two of that, Ebony, I had a kid at 18. I had never lived alone.
Yeah.
Ever.
I
So,
went to a conference with a woman who had her first child at 15, and she had five. And this conference that we went to was the first time that she had been out of town, away from children, and in a hotel room in, I don't know, 20 some years. And watching her was amazing. It's amazing how long we as women can go caring for other people, never even thinking about, like you said, the things that we need, never thinking about our own emotions, never even stopping to say, like, I don't like that. I,
Eb, look, I'm getting ready to call you Eb. I'm Eb. Listen, listen, listen. I had never asked myself like what I want.
mhm,
Could you
mhm,
imagine what you desire? Not what do I need. Forget that for a moment. I had never asked myself what I wanted.
yeah,
And I would literally lay in the bed. I had rented a house at this point. I would lay so I went back and I rented a house for 30 days and I was like, I'm gonna just be here 30 days. 5 months later, I was still there. I came home for a week to see my nephew off to the Air Force. The whole family came together and I went back.
mm,
Total, I was there a little while. So I was there for a total of like 10 months, 12 months. I can't remember. I only came home for a week in that time. Um, Being able to lay in the house in my bed, and say, do I feel like getting up? Do I want to go to the beach? I don't have to feed anyone else. I don't have to think about anybody else. What do I want? Do I want to eat peaches all day? Let me go get the mango man. Literally, we have a mango man. Let
yeah,
me go. Like, subsequently I bought property there in July. Now remember, I'm there for 5 months, came home for a week. I'm there for another 6 months or so. I
mm,
bought property in July of 2021. I was like, oh, this is it. This is heaven. But it was also the first time, it wasn't the first time that I'd ever been away from my kids. It's the first time I ever lived alone, husband at home and everything.
yes, yes. So
Everything.
I gotta ask, what did that do to your relationship? Right, 1 week is one thing, a
Girl,
year or 11 months, that's a whole nother story.
it did a lot of shit. So we'll get into it. Um we struggled hard in the beginning. I was like, listen, I am not sure what you want to do. You want to come? You want to stay? You want to get a divorce? What are we gonna do? Because this is where I am.
Mm,
And what happens is when we postpone our desires, our needs, it blows everything up in the end. It could blow everything up. And that's what was happening. I was like, no, I don't care. I don't care what else happens, what goes on. This is what I need. And fortunately for me, my husband was mature enough. He's a little older than me. He was mature enough to say, all right, this is a phase. I'm going to stick in here with her with this until she can, come out of it, or I'm going to grow with her. And I would say my I don't care went away, but my need for it to be a butterfly, to be alone, to have my alone time, to go out whenever I want, to be away for an extended period of time has never changed. But he knows that that is not about him. And he is secure and he understands that it's about me.
yes, you discovered you. I have it's interesting. I have to ask her. I have a cousin who was in Costa Rica at the exact same time. Well, no, it might have been a year before. So I think she kind of got stuck because of
Yeah, because of COVID. I
COVID.
know a lot of people that got stuck because of COVID.
Yeah, yeah. So it would have been before. But another young lady that I know sold everything and moved out of the states. And when I talked to her, I hadn't talked to her in years, and I talked to her on a Zoom call, and I just kept looking at her like she just looked
She looked
different.
good. She
It
looked
was
good.
hard. She looked good, right? And she said to me, and I don't think I'll ever forget this statement. She said, Ebony, I was on the beach and I said to myself, what is this feeling? Like, what is it? And she said, I realized I had never experienced joy. I had
Mm,
worked most of my adult life. I took care of my child. I got her off to college. I was proud, straight A
yeah,
student,
yeah.
ride, all the things. I'm running my own business. I'm doing all the things. And I got here laying on the beach and realized this is joy. I feel
Damn.
joy. She was like, I'm not coming back. So it was interesting. And so my husband doesn't really know her. He knows of her, right? He doesn't
Mhm,
really know her. But while we were on a Zoom call, he had to get something from behind me. So he
mhm.
went to the bookshelves and he spoke. And when I got off the call, he was like, Are you? I think I must have them mixed up. I must have her mixed up with somebody else. And I was like, No, you don't. You
That's
don't.
her.
That's her. You see it on people when you can finally get all of that off of you. You just it physically is different, and that's what I want to talk about. So you learned to rest, and so two things I'd love for you to talk us through. One is um, what you learned about probably delegation and getting out
Mhm.
of the way of running your business. And also what you learned that rest does physically and how you help people with that. So maybe we talk about your business first and
Okay.
getting out of the way, and then we go.
I have very elementary systems. I tell people all the time FaceTime and WhatsApp. That's it. When I first got out, because it doesn't take a lot. All it takes is a made up mind.
Hmm.
I made a decision. I'm doing this. And that's that. You figure the rest out. Or the people that you hired, they help figure it out too because they want a job.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
work too. um, I was able to learn it. It hurt. I hired a COO, a fractional COO, who wrote all of these systems and processes and interviewed everybody, and it was expensive and it was laborious, and she got on everybody's nerves, so to speak. Right? She didn't. She was great for us, but I'm tired of talking to I'm tired of talking to her. I'm tired. But in the end, everybody was like, "Oh, okay, this is good. We all know what we're doing on a consistent basis." Yes, the process might hurt, but here you are. I created Flow to do the same thing because when I first started business coaching, I was a rest coach. I was literally helping you come out of your business so you could rest. So I did a lot of the same techniques. And I was like, oh, forget this whole helping people and building these systems. That's not what I do. Let me create Flow. And Flow creates a delegation clarity compass, a decision matrix for CEOs, where you can just spout into her some off the wall thing and she'll put it in order for you. And you can go back and forth and build this sausage together and then disseminate that within your staff. She also helps you figure out how to automate. So I don't have a staff, right? I don't have a staff. I'm a solopreneur. Okay, let's get some things off your plate anyway so that you can rest or you will end up burned out. There's a story about a lady that was going around Instagram, Facebook, who I want to say she looked very young. I would say 30s, maybe 40s. She died
Oh
because she
yes, I saw that she was a caterer.
well, she was a caterer. Yep, she was a caterer.
Yes, yes, I read
Died.
that, and she
Dude,
said she made a post that said, "I need some rest."
I need some rest. Who like that could have been me. That could have been me. But I
Shalece,
went
I can tell you, if you met me 2 years ago, you would have met me with a smile on my face, but it would not have been real. It was there were too many things going on. And what I like to tell people is I did not have a bad life. I think people think that you have to have something really bad going on to burn out. You don't. I had a great life. I have a great husband, great children, great job. I worked with really good people, but it was just too much all of the time. I was doing all of the things, and I got to a point where I just couldn't take it anymore. I just
what
couldn't.
was your what I'm is it okay for me to ask? Like what was your what was your tipping point?
Yeah. So, and I talk about this, and you probably don't know this. I probably didn't share this with you, but I wrote a book about my whole experience.
Wow.
But physically, I was not doing well. I was back and forth to the doctor, high blood pressure, diabetes, all of the things, anxiety, just everything. But high functioning, and to a point
Yeah.
where I took on more because I thought I had to, right? And so I was constantly taking on more to prove myself. And my
Yeah.
doctor kept saying, you got to slow down. He kept saying, I want you to just see, he kept saying, I want you to see a behavioral health professional. And I'm like,
Mhm.
yeah, I know. I need to go see my therapist. I know. And so finally he said to me, you're going to have a heart attack or a stroke or worse. So
Yeah.
I went to my therapist, and she told me, she said, yeah, I'm going to do some evaluations. I'm like, yeah, okay. But hearing the words, like hearing her say to me, Ebony, you've been running in a deficit so long, you don't even understand that's what's happening. You've got to stop. I remember her saying that to me. And at the time, Shalece, I was sitting in my car because everywhere else required that I do something. Everywhere
Mm.
else required that I do something. So I was parked in the back of my house, sitting in my car, just like looking at the yard. That was the only place I
Literally
could
at home.
go. At home.
That's where you get the peace in the car.
In the car. Yep. And tears just start running down my face. And I
Mm.
realized in that moment, Ebony, you got to choose you. You're
Yeah.
choosing everybody else. You're not going to be here to choose everybody else
That's
if
funny
you don't
because not
choose.
really. We think we're choosing everybody else, but when we're not choosing us, like we're not choosing them either because we can't support them because we won't be
Nope.
here.
Nope. My kid, and I found that out, right? My kids would say things like, oh, mama slamming doors again. My husband, right? It was not,
Everybody
I,
sit down, be quiet. Everybody don't say nothing, don't breathe.
yes, I thought I was doing the right thing, but I wasn't. And my daughter, who is 20, she wasn't, she just turned 20. So maybe 18, 19, she
Mhm.
said, well, mom, we don't need all of that. Sometimes you don't even ask us what we need. We don't need all of that. We just need you. And I was
Mhm.
like, wow, right? Because I'm like, I got to have the money. I got to have a job. I got to have a car. I got to have a house. I got to have it. She was like, we just want you.
Yeah.
I
Mm.
was like, wow. So yeah, that's my story. But listen, I thank you for Flo because she is amazing. And I
Yeah.
am looking forward to seeing what she becomes, right?
Yeah.
Because just in the time that we talked, um, I was like, this is really amazing. This is really amazing. I
Yeah.
want to know before we find out about the rest retreats. I want to know what you. We know why you built Flow, but what was it in you that said I can be a tech founder? Because I've had tech ideas.
Nothing.
I'm like,
Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Like even when she was built, they were like, "Oh, you're in tech. You're a tech. You're a techie." Everyone, people kept saying, and I'm like, "No, I'm gonna get it done. Like get shit done. Like she
yes,
makes things easy for me. Like
yes,
she helps. She takes care of this part, so I can do this part because I love helping you rest. I love to see you as you are." Unfortunately, this is a symptom or this is a sign of us getting well, losing weight or
yes,
ratcheting down your high blood pressure medication, the color that comes back to your face. It wasn't
yes,
necessarily that I loved her, but I loved what she could do, what she allowed.
yes, yes,
That's what happened. I found myself programming, then reprogramming. Then I went to a coaching. I went like to the blocks, like a coaching intensive competition thing. And someone showed me how to put her on a server over a cocktail at a bar in a casino. A lady showed me how to, like at the hotel we were staying at in
yes.
Omaha. No, we weren't in Omaha. We were in Oklahoma, Tulsa, Oklahoma. And she was like, listen, go to Cloudflare. This is how you do it. This is what I was like, okay, bet. What do I do? How do I learn to code? Go to Upwork, get you somebody that can help you code. And I started watching and seeing how to code and how to put it on Cloudflare and how to put the servers into the different businesses. And I just figured it out. And it was so fun. It was
Yes.
so fun. fun. That's how it came about. And as I told people about her, and I'm like, you should use her. She's free. I'm not charging you unless you want me to put her in your business. Now, the ones that wanted her in the business, they got her in there. They do pay a retainer, have a decent sized retainer. But the ones that like what I showed you, you just use her. And she's fun and she's free and she's funny as heck. So
And her icon is cute. Uh, um, yeah, so that just goes to show that when you have something that you want to do, there's no stopping. It doesn't matter
no.
what kind of training you have. I don't know. I probably told you this story. I don't know if I've told it on the show, but I wanted to do a podcast for a while, and I let somebody talk me out of it because I didn't
Oh
have
yeah, you told me.
a studio and I didn't have all the things, and they were like, the sound isn't good and blah blah blah. And finally, I was like, I'm gonna do this. And then I was like, oh God, what do I do with the lights? Oh goodness, what do I do with this? Oh my God, how do I get, what's the RSS feed? And where does that
Right.
go? And blah, blah, blah. And then when you start digging and you figure it out and you realize like, it wasn't even as much as I made it out to be. And then you build a website and then you're like, oh, and you're meeting people like, I want your story told. And people are, now I got people emailing me that I'm like, where did you find me? How do you, sure, yeah, let's talk. I think it just goes to show that if you put your mind to it, you can do it and you can have fun with it, right?
Yeah.
Over a cocktail.
Over a cocktail, girl. So
Yeah.
I believe in the law of attraction, and I believe heavily that if you take one step towards your vision, it'll run twice as hard towards you. And all you have
Mm,
to do, like you don't see this the rest of the staircase, or you don't see. My dad used to say this to my mom. He taught my mom how to drive. We would drive down south to Mississippi, where my dad is from, and she would creep, 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 and he's like, you can go a little faster, but you only need to see, if you're concentrating, you only need to see as far as the headlights go. That's it. That's all you need. And I remember I was a kid in the car, and he would tell her that, and I've heard other people say it since then. And I'm like, my dad said that, and it lets me know like I only need to see this far. I only need to see this far, and then it'll be revealed. I
yeah.
trust that it will be revealed the next step. I didn't know I was going to get funded for flow. Like when a lady came up to me and she was like, you can get funded for that. I was like, really? I can? She said, yeah, funded for that. Come on, go to this meeting. Lo and behold, two people were there that got me money for flow.
Mm,
Okay, I kind of like this. Who else I need to tell about flow?
right. 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 Especially when it ain't coming out of your pocket, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, resourceful because they don't just give you money. A lot of times they give you resources. They give you people that know this game, that know what they're doing, and so they know the language. They know who you need to talk to, how to make you take the next step. It may not always have anything to do with money, and that's fine. I don't need you for real. I'm okay, but knowing, having those connections, knowing what my next step is, how I can make her better, how I can really maximize her, how I can research to find out what she needs to do, like those are the types of things that have been invaluable, more valuable than the money that they can give me.
Yes, yes. So here comes flow. And now, you can move out of your business, you can, or your, property management business, and you are teaching people to rest. And what does that journey look like? And how do
Okay.
you get to rest retreats?
So here is how it went. I did a radical rest retreat for women. It was just targeting women. And something happened. I was at a retreat in April, one that I attended. And something in me said, do a couples retreat. And I was like, no, I'm not a therapist. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. Right. That old messy Melvin be in my head. He be playing them games.
That's
But,
enough.
mhm, but it wouldn't go away. It just, this April, it kept saying, like, do this retreat, do this retreat. So I started building this retreat. I'm like, people gonna be confused. They be like, what? Who are you? Are you Flo's mama? Are you a retreat host? Like, what you doing with couples? Do you know what you're doing? So that was Messy Melvin talking to me. Anyhow, I began one step after the other. I'm like, I'm gonna build this retreat. I don't know what we're gonna do, where we're gonna go, but I feel that couples need to have a space with other couples in community that want to hold this each other. You told me about a very good community that you're in. Hold space for each other and also get tools from one another and use the ones that saved me and my husband, honestly. And my
Yeah.
our therapist is going to be there. Our relationship therapist will be there because Pamela, I feel she really helped us grow, grow stronger. And we practiced things that she gave us. We read a lot. We went to 2 or 3 couples retreats ourselves, and we continue to do these things that we wish that we had in the beginning. That's how the retreat came into play. Resting though, it comes naturally for me. I have my friends that call me and say, "What should I do?" Or "I'm overwhelmed," or "You got to practice for this," or "How should I do that?" Heck yeah, I got something for you. Let's box breathe. When you do this, when you sit down, this is your trigger.
Yeah.
And I also do it for my clients. So in the coaching session, sometimes we'll go over, we used to go over the business. I'm no longer a business coach, so we getting rid of that, but we will go over the business, but then we will also say, all right, let's take care of you. Because if we don't take care of you, nobody, you can't feed any of these people's families.
Mm-mm.
None of
Nope.
them. And so we would always go with rest practices and create a rest protocol.
Yes.
Because I created a rest protocol for these high performing, multiple 7-figure owners that I was talking to, leaders that I coach, I have created a 14-day rest reset. And that rest reset consists of a kickoff day and then 14 days of small, tiny practices that culminate in a 10-minute practice by day 14. And
Mm.
send you a protocol, your very own private protocol at the end of the 14 days. It's self-paced, nothing but the kickoff call and the ending call, the integration call that you need to be on. Other than that, you are in a portal and you are talking to other people in community with other leaders, high performing leaders who also want to rest. And you guys are spending 3 to 5 minutes a day on learning a different practice. Week 1. Week
Yes.
2, you are putting those practices in place and figuring out which ones you like the best to build your protocol. That's it. It's very simple. Um, Rest lights me up. It brings me joy. I sit somewhere in the intersection of like rest, joy, and happiness.
Mm.
So I call myself a rest coach, but I'm telling you, when I'm well rested, I'm happy as hell.
Yeah.
Heck, right?
I
And
tell. I said it the other day. The rested me is the best me. Otherwise, otherwise you just get the rest of me. And
wait, say that again.
the rested me is the best me. Otherwise, you just get the rest of me.
I love that so much. And I will attribute it to Dr. Ebony Stone, but I
Yeah,
still work with it. I want to use that. The rest of me is the best
absolutely.
me. Otherwise, you
Yeah,
get the rest of me and
yeah.
you're
You don't
not
want
trying you don't want no smoke.
no, not at all. You don't want me slamming these doors
No.
around here. You don't want none of that. You don't want none of that.
Yes.
I love that. So when is the retreat? When is the
The
next retreat?
retreat. So the next retreat is October 15th through the 22nd of 2026. And you can register liveasif.co and you'll find the retreat on there. I don't know what the backslash or whatever is, but liveasif.co, no M on the end. You can register there. It's a beautiful experience. And if I could talk just a minute about the experience.
Go ahead.
Okay. So the way that I've built this is I believe in legacy. We talked a lot about financial acumen when I first got on. And I don't know if you know that I'm like a big whole thing about finances and families and leaving a legacy, but I am.
Hmm.
And so I couldn't put this retreat on for just the couple without talking about the family and the legacy that they're leaving. So it's called Built on Us. And my husband, my family, we talk a lot about that, the partnership pact. And so when you first land in Costa Rica, we'll have one night where we get to know each other. And then we will fly on a private jet to the retreat space in the jungle called Imaloa. At this retreat space, we will eat good, we will dance, we will sing, we will do all the healing modalities, and you will learn. You are going to be yanked out of your pattern from day to day, and you will. There's something to be said about nature and the interconnectedness. And you
Mhm.
know, because you have your hands in your garden all the
All the
time.
time. Yes. Hmm.
And what that is going to do for you and your partner is far beyond whatever I can express. It's going to give you what you need. How about that? It
Okay.
knows what you need and it's going to give it to you. Um, Pamela will do her thing there. We'll be there for 4 days. Then we will get on another private jet and we'll go over to the Caribbean side, the side that made me fall in love and
Okay.
stay for several months. And we will show you the property that my husband and I have. And we'll also show you other properties that other folks like you and me have built for their legacy, for their families. And some of them live there and some of them don't, and so on, right? I think it's important to go to the place that I first fell in love with because one, it is the blackest place in Costa Rica, it's Puerto Viejo. And two, I'd like to show you the magic of the place and the black sand beaches there and the
Mm.
food and the music. It's unmatched. It is like a smorgasbord of like Panama, Nicaragua, Jamaica, all in
Mm.
one place. Yeah,
Mm.
the food.
Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
Mhm.
Is what you think. It's exactly
Yeah.
what you.
Yes.
So I feel then so we're over there and you're going to go to a two Michelin star restaurant owned by a local woman, a local
Okay.
black Tika woman, in the jungle, and it's one of my favorite places called Monli. You'll also experience a breakfast place called Bread and Chocolate. I don't know. We're going to do some sacred dancing. We'll be on the beach. I haven't made up my mind exactly what this experience will look like, but we're going to integrate there. We'll learn a lot at Imaloa. We're going to practice integration there.
Yeah.
And you'll see some indigenous folks will visit their land, learn
Okay.
about chocolate and how they live day to day. Then you'll get on another private jet and you will fly to the main um, international terminal and you will
Yes.
go home changed with your
Yeah.
partnership pact to build your relationship the way that it serves you and your partner, not the way that you just kind of fell into, that you
Yes.
kind of learned from what was modeled, which a lot of us didn't have real good models for relationships.
Right. Right.
You
And
rebuild that.
yes, I love that. And I love that you said the partnership pack that works for you. I remember when my kids were little, I was talking to a lady and she said, listen, me and my husband do what we want to do. And she said, I know people talk about me because I cut my grass and my husband is in the house. I don't care. I cut grass because I like to cut grass and he's in the house cooking because he likes to
That's what
cook.
he likes to do.
This marriage is ours, not nobody else's. And I was like, okay, cut your grass, girl. I hear you. I hear
And
you,
that was
right?
your message. You needed to hear that. Whatever
Yeah.
you've done since then, I'm sure, it has created an impact on you. But yeah, it's time to stop living through other people's stories and other people's filters and live our own.
Oh, I love that. Yes. So I'll be attributing that to you, right? It's time to stop living other people's stories and through other people's filters and other people's lenses. Absolutely. So
Yeah,
listen, it's been absolutely amazing chatting with you. All of the links will be in the show note. The link to the retreat. If it's okay, we'll share the link to Flow. You let me know. We'll
absolutely. Yeah,
share all of the links down below and how to get in touch with you if someone wants to get in touch with you. But before we go, I got to ask you the question that I always ask all my guests. And your eyes were like,
I'm
"What's
like,
that?"
I can't remember. I'm like, did she tell me? Is she surprising me? Yes,
I don't.
I think it is a surprise.
I
I don't
don't.
mind.
I was
Let's
gonna say
go.
it might be a surprise, but I think I told you. So
I'm
I
quick with it.
typically ask my guests if someone says, Shalece, we just want to make a movie of your life. It is absolutely amazing. What would you call that movie, first of all?
Okay.
And second of all, if you could choose the person that played you, who would it be?
Oh, no, you didn't tell me that, but something about relinquish control. That would be the name of it.
Relinquish
Relinquish control.
control.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Just let it go. Let it go. Everything grows when you realize that you ain't in charge anyway. So relinquish control. For real.
Yes.
And then who would play me? Well, Maya Angelou she's no longer, she's transitioned, but I would have the powerful, strong voice of Maya Angelou for sure. I love
Yeah.
her. I love her. And but who alive maybe? Look at me cheating. I get to say it two different ways. Look at me cheating. Um there's some Kerry Washington. I think about her in Scandal, like It's Handled, except
Yeah.
she'd have to pipe it down like 8 notches
Okay.
from on Scandal. She would be like, rested Carrie, where she's like, I'm not the fixer anymore. It's
Yes.
handled, not by me.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. She'd have to bring down the intensity level. I
yeah.
love it. I love it. And with the magic of AI, we might be able to bring Dr. Maya's voice back, right? I
Yeah.
love that. I love that. I love that. Well, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. This has been absolutely amazing. I look forward, so you guys get to see her online, but I look forward to seeing her in person now that I know where she is and we're there almost every week, right? I look forward to building this relationship and continuing to stay in touch. And so, you guys, if you take anything away from this, I'm going to ask that you take two things away. First and foremost, to relinquish control, right? Shalece said that's what she would name her movie because you ain't in control anyway. So you might as well just let it go. Relinquish control, first of all. And second of all, if you want to do it, go do it. Don't let anything stand in your way. Shalice's life has been a journey that has shown us whatever you want to do, you can do. You heard her talk. Anything you want to do, you can do. She's done it all. She's a tech founder, she's a real estate mogul, and she teaches people to rest. You can do whatever it is you want to do. So until next time, you guys keep spreading that Black girl magic on everything you do, and we'll see you soon. Bye bye.